Off to Europe we go now, where things have taken a dramatic turn for the worse this week, culminating in a series of explosive rows overnight between Germany and France over the way out of this current crisis. With Italian, Spanish and French borrowing costs climbing, France is again demanding the European Central Bank step in decisively to calm the markets. Germany is still refusing. Well, I'm joined now from London and from the BGC Partners London office by senior economist Howard Wheeldon. Howard, welcome to the programme.
Hello there, pleased to be with you.
Now look, I see this phrase coming back again, kicking the can down the road. Yesterday, Antonio Borges, the European chief of the IMF, and he was the guy responsible for the bailouts of Greece, Portugal and Ireland, he resigned for personal reasons. A couple of months ago we had the chief economist of the World Bank resigning for personal reasons. Is this becoming a euphemism for something?
Well, yeah, I mean, one hopes there's a degree of coincidence in this, and I'm like you, I don't know the actual details, but leave that aside. I think the one certainly probably is personal reasons. The other, well, we'll leave open. The point is, the situation in Europe is getting worse by the day. It should be getting better. We're not having the unity of purpose. In fact, there is no unity of purpose. Britain is pulling one way, Germany is pulling another way. France is pulling in another direction. Italy gets worse by the day. The Greek situation is far from satisfactory. No, we have got big problems here. It's getting worse, and it's affecting America as well, and as it was always going to do.
France and Spain both carry out government debt sales today. How do you think they're going to go?
Well, I think they'll get part of it away, but not necessarily all. And of course, they will be paying. They will be paying at a rate which is unsustainable. They can do it for now, but it is unsustainable long term. We have to find a proper political solution for this, with or without some countries who may fall by the wayside. But at the moment, the European Union and the Eurozone is far too large an area to be allowed to collapse as one. We have to find a solution which brings about a positive basis for those who can move the global economy forward, move their own economies forward. Germany, France, Holland, Belgium, the northern countries, and we've got to let, I think, some new form of IMF come ECB support to be put behind the southern base of European countries or Eurozone members who are falling by the wayside.
So you see that solution really Europe and staying together as such?
I think the EU will stay together, but I think the EU, I would say, probably peaked in terms of its political powers 4 to 5 years ago. I don't think we will have fiscal union. I don't think we will have full economic union. Neither do I want it, and it certainly wouldn't be acceptable in this country. So we could see some reversal in terms of EU powers in the coming months and years. And I, for one, certainly hope that we will.
Now, you painted a horrendous picture going through the different countries just a moment ago, but Italian borrowing costs, are now through 7%. Last week, that was going to trigger a crisis. Why is it okay now? I mean, why is the market reacting how it is?
Yes, it's a very good point. I would answer that by reminding you that Italy is a very different country to Greece. Within Italy, there is a lot that the Italian government, once it pulls itself together, can do. There is inherent wealth there. There is huge savings there. This is a country that has an economy. Greece really doesn't have an economy. So there's a lot that the Italians can do to help themselves. They can raise taxes. They can, they can cut their costs, their government costs down by a lot if there is the will to do it. Under the previous regime, under Mr. Berlusconi, there wasn't the will to do it. But I think generally markets believe that Italy can do a lot more to help itself.
And you think this technocratic leadership will solve things in a better way than politicians could?
Well, yes, so that's a new term, of course. If we look at Italian governments since 1945, I haven't got the number in front of me, but I think it's well into the 30s. You could argue that they've existed on coalition government form for most of that time. So this is just a different form of coalition. For Greece, well, there really was no alternative.
Meanwhile, Britain, pretty grim there. Youth unemployment passed the million mark, and the Bank of England has slashed growth forecasts from 1.7% this year down to 1%.
unusually, the Bank of England seems to be a bit behind the market curve here. It virtually is saying what markets have been anticipating for weeks, if not months, and that's why I think if we look at the FTSE 100 index yesterday, it didn't really badly react to what the governor had said. But it is serious. We are likely to head back into a period of recession. We've just got to learn and cope with it as we've done in previous recessions. I think we can get out of this.
Finally, one finance journalist here, Bob Gottliebsen, went and had a chat with a few bankers, I note, and he reports back that our bankers were saying that the only solution to Europe was that at some stage everybody's going to realise they need to build the biggest printing press that the world has ever seen and run into 24/7 euro printing. The euro falls, inflation rises, and that would be the least harmful way out of the problem. What do you make of that?
Of course, printing money is always a solution. Devaluing your currency is a solution, but it's not the right solution because we all know what it causes: ongoing inflation. Now, there are those out there who argue that a little bit of inflation is actually good for you, and perhaps it is, but not on the scale that if we try and print our way completely out of this, devaluing the debt at the same time as devaluing your currency.
Right.
I don't think it's the way out.
Howard Wheeldon, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.